What's the wildest thing someone has ever whispered in your ear?
Story 1.
Went on a date with a girl in my early 20s and mentioned I liked the Italian accent. She swung her legs over me. So she was sat on my lap and leaned forward and whispered in my ear in Italian. I told her it was really hot and asked what it meant. She swung back off my lap and said, "No idea, heard it on a pizza advert," then started laughing. Tell me you got the hint. I did. We left the pub and went for a pizza.
Story 2.
My husband is half Japanese and speaks the language well. I do not. When we were first dating, I asked him to say something in Japanese. Dorky, I know. He whispered a phrase in my ear, and it gave me little shivers. Very hot. Come to find out, what he fexily whispered in my ear was the number 6,749 in Japanese. Because it was the first thing that came to mind. 10 years later, he still occasionally says 6749 in that sexy voice, and we have a good laugh over it. Roku-sen nana haiku yanju-kyu. Edit. I'm also not great at Japanese.
Story 3.
While I can finally tell this story, a dental hygienist was scraping plaque off of my teeth and cut me. I was bleeding, and she was squirting the water hose vacuum in my mouth. I choked and spit bloody plaque water in her face. She was wearing a face shield, so it didn't actually get on her face. I was so embarrassed that I was apologizing repeatedly. She giggled and said it's definitely okay. I said sorry one more time, and she leaned down to my ear and whispered, "I like it," and gave me a wink. I didn't have blood and spit fetish dental hygienist anywhere near my bingo card. I like how you didn't have it on your bingo card. Past tense. Sounds like you had a new kink unlocked.
Story 4.
I woke up, kissed her, and said good morning. She whispered, "You're about to have a great morning." She whispered, "What do you mean? Do you wish me a good morning? Or mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not? Or that you feel good this morning? Or that it is a morning to be good on?" All of them at once, I suppose.
Story 5.
I met my long-distance boyfriend for the first time at the airport when I went to pick him up. Yes, we started dating when we were in different countries. As we were heading to get a cab, we found ourselves alone in the elevator. As soon as the door shut, he shoved me to the edge and whispered, "Don't say anything," and just aggressively kissed me like he was longing for it. Best makeout session in my opinion. Probably also in the airport staff's opinion that is monitoring those videos. There's something really wonderful about that level of lust. Lust that's been building up for ages without release, while emotional intimacy was increasing the whole time.
Story 6.
My husband and I were together for about 6 months, then split up. It was the wrong time for both of us. 6 years later, we met up for a drink when I was in his city. The first time we were together, I was dealing with trichotillomania and had pulled out all of my eyebrow hair. So I used to draw my eyebrows on. By the time we met up again, I'd managed to grow them back, which I pointed out to him at some point during the day. He very lightly touched one eyebrow and said, "That's the only part of you I haven't touched." Still the sexiest thing anyone's ever said. I reckon it was all in the delivery. Anyway, it worked. We got back together and have been for 10 years.
Story 7.
Was talking with a female friend of mine many years ago as a dumb, oblivious teenager. We were talking about the color of undies of something silly, and I made a guess at what color she was wearing. I guessed incorrectly as she said she wasn't wearing any. I called bullshit. She said, "Why don't you find out?" I am dumb, but not Thea dumb. Can confirm. She was going commando. At work, one of the secretaries, female, yes, the term at the time, was wearing a yellow dress and black panties. She was a beautiful young woman and attracted a lot of attention. You could see right through. The plant manager, male, called the secretary and office manager, female, into his office. He told the secretary that everyone could see through her skirt and she needed to go home and change. She grabbed her skirt and pulled up to her face and said, "Really?" and flashed the plant manager.
If you enjoy our channel, we'd love to invite you to become a member. Joining is easy. Just click the join button on our channel homepage or beneath any of our videos. Your support means the world to us, and as a member, you'll gain access to exclusive perks and content. Thank you for being part of our community. We look forward to welcoming you as a member soon.
Story 8.
Was 19 at the time. My girlfriend and I hadn't slept together yet. We were at Kroger looking for snacks for a movie we rented. I saw Klondike bars. I sang the jingle. "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" Without missing a beat, she said, "You." She got shy and walked away, and we took the next step later that week. "Okay, but afterward, did you give her a Klondike bar?" Seems the gentlemanly thing to do. We went with Ben and Jerry's. Ice cream plus full-throttle energy drinks was our typical movie snacks. LOL. I feel like there was something else, but this is also going back 20-ish years.
Story 9.
Best relationship I ever had. Probably because it was only 6 months long. We broke up because she was going back to college in a different state. As she was leaving to the airport, she was getting off my subway train to switch to a different one. She whispers in my ear, "Your stick." And then as she's walking off the packed train, she yells, "Is huge." LOL. I don't think it was deserving of that kind of over-the-top statement. But everyone on the train looked at me. The guys enviously. The girls like I was an ice cream cone. That was a one-time only experience.
Story 10.
It was my 16th birthday back in the 80s, and I was invited out for a picnic dinner with a gal I knew. She had a rough life, and I was there for her a couple of times during crisis. Apparently, she decided to thank me, and after dinner, she jumped me. I was fairly inexperienced and had never had unprotected PIV up to that point. She was much more experienced and was on BC as she was riding me, and clearly knew I was about to explode. She leaned down and whispered in my ear, right when I climaxed, "Happy birthday." The combination of first cream, her whispering in my ear, and all the magic of the moment has ingrained that memory deep in my soul. Every birthday since I've wanted to recreate that. I've got my 60th coming up this fall. Maybe, just maybe, I can convince my wife to role-playing with me.
Story 11.
At my work Christmas party several years ago, my boss hired 2 dancers, male and female, to dance with each other in our team. They both had extensive training, and their first dance together was a beautiful ballet number. Later in the evening, the very pretty ballerina was dancing with me and my husband, and proceeded to run her hands down the side of my body over my fitted dress and stared me in the eyes, and told me I was shaped exactly like a woman should be shaped. But she looked my husband in the eye and said, "I'll share her with you," while never removing her hands from running up and down my sides. We were both pretty tipsy. My husband lit up like Christmas. I reminded I am absolutely nowhere on the Kinsey scale except for strictly stickly. LOL. He was so crestfallen, but he still brings it up ever so often.
Story 12.
I was having in the back seat. She had straddled me and was riding to her heart's content. I was sat back enjoying myself and spread my arms out over the seat top. She leaned in, which made me go deeper, and whispered into my ear in between moans, "You have such a hot body." And that comment ran my self-esteem for years. Back when I was working out a little too obsessively, I remember taking my shirt off, and this girl I was with whispered, "Holy shit," under her breath. It was like my brain went "Gotcha, bro," and recorded that memory into never-to-be-deleted files.